Good morning.
Morning.
How is everyone today? Awesome? Great. So I just want to put a disclaimer out. I'm very pregnant. And as a result, I have a little trouble catching my breath sometimes. So if I seem winded, don't get your phones out and call 911 that I'm in labor. I'm hoping to make it through the presentation without going into labor, although that would be very exciting, wouldn't it? But anyway, if I stop and catch my breath, it's not because, anything's wrong. I'm just limited in my lung capacity. So, that being said, thanks, Esther, for that introduction. Public sector consultants, hopefully most of you have heard of us before. We're located here in Lansing. We're a public policy research and management firm. We specialize in healthcare policy, education policy, energy and the environment. I manage our environment and energy practice area. I'm actually celebrating my 12-year anniversary today at the firm. Yay. So glad to share that with you. And yes, I am presenting results from a study that we did on behalf of Business Leaders for Michigan, Doug Rothwell's group of CEOs in the state. We partnered with the Brookings Institution, Bruce Katz, specifically to do this study. And I want to make 3 points with you today. And yes, I could talk on this for 2 hours. I don't know if you've seen the report, but if you have trouble sleeping, it's and the guy that does PR for us, Phil there with Truscott Rossman, has read it as well, and he can attest that it's quite a page turner. So I could spend 2 hours explaining it to you, but I only have 20 minutes, so I'll get right into it. And I'll try to just make 3 points today, and then you can ask questions after. But that the U.S. must build a next economy, a new economy, you might have heard of it this way, kind of an innovation-driven economy, that our pre-recession economy isn't really working for us. And I'll talk a little bit about what next economy means, that Michigan and its metros have real strengths in the next economy. I've seen Charlie's presentation. There's a little bit of, gloom and doom statistics in there about Michigan's economy, but I'm going to try to focus on the good news and our strengths. And that because a lot of these strengths are located in our metro areas, we really need a state-level urban and metro strategy. And the report does make some recommendations in those areas. So this is my gloom and doom slide that I'm not going to spend much time on because it would be silly in the presence of Charlie to talk about the Michigan economy. But basically just talking about job loss, unemployment, poverty rate, 3 in 4 people either lost a job or are close to someone who has lost a job. The point with this slide is just that we need to do things differently. And what we contend and what a lot of folks are saying is that we need a next economy that's more oriented towards innovation. So idea generation, entrepreneurship, and then the deployment of those ideas in the form of advanced manufacturing. That we need to be much more globally oriented. The next economy demands and rewards global engagement, talking specifically about exports and foreign direct investments. And that with climate change and reliance on foreign oil, having in the advanced manufacturing sector focus on low carbon technology is key, and I'll show some slides about how Michigan has a lot of strengths in that area. And that orienting towards this next economy really provides a lot of opportunities for workers of all skill levels, and Larry, I'm sure, is going to, he's our workforce expert, so I'm not going to spend much time on workforce, but just make that point. And you might say, so this report, as I understand it, is supposed to be an urban strategy. And so why aren't you talking about, schools and crime and transportation and things that are typical urban strategy type stuff? Why are you starting with the next economy? And I would argue that, we do need school reform. We do need to reduce crime in our urban areas, and those are necessary strategies, but they're not sufficient. And what we really need to do with our urban areas is look to the future and really help them leverage their strengths that I'll talk about in a minute to participate in this next economy. These pie charts show you that really our metro areas are the real powerhouses of the state. It's where most of the people live. It's where most of our export strength is. The top set of circles are the U.S. statistics. The bottom are Michigan. Can you see that okay? Okay. So I won't go through each of them, but that's where most of our science and engineering jobs are. It's where most of our educated adults are. So really focusing on our metro areas and leveraging all of these assets to be able to participate in the next economy. And before I just start talking about Michigan's metros, what do I mean? The census has defined these metropolitan statistical areas. There are 14 of them in Michigan. So when I'm talking about metro areas, that's what I'm talking about. And they're all in the lower, the southern lower peninsula. So Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Ann Arbor, Flint, what you would think of as our urbanized areas in Michigan. And so my second point that I was going to make is that Michigan really has a lot of strengths, and a lot of these strengths are in our metro areas. We have already a pretty strong link between innovation and manufacturing, particularly in clean energy technology. And this shouldn't be much of a surprise because we have such great universities, MSU, yay, being one of those. And then our manufacturing heritage and infrastructure from the auto legacy. We're also pretty good at producing goods and services that are in demand abroad, cars being one of those, but we have a lot of manufacturing and export infrastructure in the state that we can leverage. And then we're also home to strong and emerging industry clusters and anchor institutions. And I'll go through a few slides here, not all of them, that really prove my point. I'm talking about innovation. Patents are a proxy, an indicator of innovation. And when you look at patent applications per 1,000 employees, you can see that these six over here, Flint, Monroe, Kalamazoo, Detroit, Niles, Holland, and Ann Arbor, all have patent rates that are higher than the US average. Drilling down into clean economy, so these are renewable energy technologies. We really punch above our weight nationally there as well, and you can see here that going above, the scale doesn't even go that high. That Lansing has a patent rate 24 times higher than the US average for biofuel technology. Who knew that before we did this study? Jackson, 15% higher patent rate in wind energy. All of these lines are showing that we're really ahead of the game in terms of clean energy technology.